October 15th, 1942. 10:47 a.m. Stalingrad. Vasily Zaytsev is staring at a piece of broken glass. The glass is sticking out of a pile of bricks 450 meters away. It might be nothing, sunlight reflecting off debris. The city is full of broken glass. Or it might be a scope, a German sniper scope. The scope belonging to the man who's been hunting Zaytsev for 9 days, the man who's already killed 16 Soviet snipers, the man Berlin sent specifically to kill Vasily Zaytsev. His name is Erwin König, King, Major, German Army, best sniper in the Wehrmacht. And right now, right this second, one of two things is true. Either that piece of glass is random debris and Zaytsev is wasting time staring at nothing, or Erwin König is behind that brick pile with a rifle aimed at Zaytsev's head, waiting for him to move. Zaytsev has been lying in this exact position for 6 hours. He hasn't moved, hasn't eaten, hasn't even blinked more than necessary. His spotter, Nikolai Kulikov, is 3 meters to his left. Also hasn't moved, both of them watching that piece of glass, both of them knowing that if it is König, if that's his scope, then the first person to move dies. And here's the thing that's about to make this interesting. Zaytsev needs to piss, badly, has needed to for the last 2 hours. His bladder is screaming, his body is cramping. Every instinct is telling him to shift position just slightly, just enough to relieve the pressure. He doesn't move. Because if that's König over there, even the smallest movement, the tiniest shift, will get Zaytsev killed. So Vasily Zaytsev, the deadliest sniper in the Red Army, the man with 225 confirmed kills, the legend of Stalingrad, lies in frozen rubble and pisses himself. Warm liquid spreads across his legs, soaks into his uniform, starts to freeze almost immediately because it's 8 degrees below zero. Kulikov, 3 meters away, doesn't react, doesn't look, doesn't acknowledge it, just keeps watching the glass. Because Kulikov understands, in a sniper duel, you don't move. Ever, for any reason. You lie there until you win or until you die. Those are the only 2 options. The piece of glass hasn't moved in 6 hours, and Vasily Zaytsev still doesn't know if he's looking at a scope or debris. What happens next will take 11 seconds. One of the 2 best snipers in the world will die. The other will walk away. And the entire outcome of the Battle of Stalingrad, the turning point of World War II, the moment that determines whether Nazi Germany wins or loses the Eastern Front, will shift because of 1 bullet. All because Vasily Zaytsev pissed himself and stayed still anyway. Vasily Grigorievich Zaytsev was born March 23, 1915 in Yelenovka, a village in the Ural Mountains, so remote it doesn't appear on most maps. Population maybe 300, 1 dirt road, no electricity, no running water, winter 9 months of the year. His grandfather was a hunter, professional, the kind of man who could track a wolf for 3 days through a blizzard and come home with the pelt. When Vasily was 5 years old, his grandfather handed him a rifle. Here's how you hold it. Here's how you breathe. Here's how you squeeze the trigger. Don't pull, squeeze. Now shoot that tree. Vasily shot, missed. His grandfather didn't say good try, didn't encourage him. Just said again. Vasily shot again, missed again, for 6 hours, until his shoulder was bruised from the recoil and his fingers were numb from the cold. Finally, he hit the tree. His grandfather nodded. Tomorrow we shoot rabbits. By age 12, Vasily could hit a running wolf at 300 meters. Not a standing wolf, running. By 15, he could do it in the dark. By the time he was 18, he'd killed more wolves than most hunters kill in a lifetime. Hunting wasn't a hobby, it was survival. You shoot the wolf, or the wolf eats your livestock. You shoot the deer, or your family starves through winter. You miss, people die. Simple math. In 1937, Zaytsev joined the Soviet Navy. Pacific Fleet, Vladivostok. About as far from the war as you can get and still be in the Soviet Union. He worked as a clerk, filing paperwork, stamping documents, hated every second. When Germany invaded in June 1941, Zaytsev immediately requested transfer to the front. Request denied. The Pacific Fleet needed clerks. He requested again. Denied. Again. Denied. He kept requesting, every week, for 15 months. In September 1942, they finally transferred him. Not because they wanted to, because the Battle of Stalingrad was eating soldiers faster than the Soviet Union could replace them. They needed bodies, any bodies, even clerks from Vladivostok. Zaytsev arrived in Stalingrad on September 22nd. The city had been under assault for 4 weeks, 99% destroyed, rubble and fire and corpses everywhere. The Germans controlled the west. The Soviets held a thin strip along the Volga River. Sometimes the front line was a single street, sometimes a single building. Sometimes the Germans held the ground floor and the Soviets held the second floor, and they killed each other through the floorboards. The average life expectancy of a Soviet soldier arriving in Stalingrad was 24 hours. Officers told new arrivals, "Don't bother learning anyone's name. They'll be dead tomorrow. You'll be dead tomorrow. Everyone's dead. Just kill Germans until you are." Zaytsev was issued a Mosin Nagant rifle, 3 days of ammunition, and pointed toward the front line. He was 27 years old, a clerk from Vladivostok who'd spent the last 5 years stamping paperwork. He was about to become the most dangerous man in Stalingrad. First day, Zaytsev killed 5 Germans, not in combat, not in a firefight. He found a position in the rubble, watched the German lines, waited for soldiers to move, shot them. 1 bullet, 1 kill. Moved to a new position, waited, shot again. 5 Germans dead before they even knew he was there. Second day, 8 kills. Third day, 12. By the end of his first week, Zaytsev had killed 47 German soldiers. His commanders noticed. The political officers loved it. Here was a story. A hunter from the Urals, a worker, a proletarian, killing fascists with a rifle his grandfather taught him to shoot. Perfect propaganda. They started printing his name in army newspapers. Started telling other soldiers about the great sniper Vasily Zaytsev, the hunter from the Urals who never misses. Zaytsev didn't care about the propaganda. He cared about the math. Every German he killed was 1 fewer German shooting at his friends. Simple as shooting wolves. The target moves. You calculate distance, wind, drop, squeeze the trigger. The target stops moving. Next target. By October, Zaytsev had killed over 100 Germans. The German command noticed. They were losing officers, artillery spotters, radio operators. Anyone who moved during daylight in certain sectors was getting shot. Always 1 bullet. Always fatal. Always from a shooter nobody could find. It was hurting morale. German soldiers were terrified to move. This was a problem. The Germans decided to solve it the German way, with efficiency, with precision. They sent their best. Erwin König arrived in Stalingrad October 6th. Major, German Army, sniper instructor from Berlin. According to Soviet records, König had over 400 confirmed kills on the Eastern Front. According to German records, there's no record of anyone named Erwin König. Some historians think he was real, others think he was Soviet propaganda. A fictional super sniper invented to make Zaytsev's eventual victory more impressive. Vasily Zaytsev believed König was real. Believed it because on October 7th, Soviet snipers in Zaytsev's sector started dying. Good snipers, experienced, men who'd survived weeks in Stalingrad, shot through the head from concealed positions, always one bullet, always fatal, always from angles that didn't make sense. In 3 days, 8 Soviet snipers died. Then König killed Morozov, Viktor Morozov, 21 years old, from Siberia, Zaytsev's student. Zaytsev had trained him personally, taught him everything: how to breathe, how to wait, how to calculate wind drift at 400 meters. Morozov was good, careful, smart. König shot him through the left eye from 380 meters, while Morozov was repositioning between cover. Morozov died instantly. Zaytsev found the body 2 hours later, found the angle of entry, calculated the firing position, and realized this wasn't a normal sniper. This was someone exceptional, someone trained, someone hunting Soviet snipers specifically, someone hunting him. Zaytsev reported to his commander. "There's a German sniper, a specialist. He's killing our men. I'm going to kill him." His commander asked how. Zaytsev said, "Same way I kill everyone else. I'll find him. I'll wait. I'll shoot him." Except it wasn't that simple, because König was also looking for Zaytsev. For 8 days, they hunted each other. Zaytsev would take a position at dawn, lie there all day, watch for any sign of König, see nothing, relocate at dusk, try again tomorrow. König was doing the same thing, both of them searching, both of them waiting for the other to make one small mistake. Day 3, Zaytsev saw a glint, maybe a scope, maybe broken glass, 500 meters away in rubble. He watched for 9 hours. Nothing moved. He didn't shoot. Could be a decoy. Could be König watching from somewhere else, waiting to see where Zaytsev's muzzle flash comes from. Day 5, 2 more Soviet snipers died, both in Zaytsev's sector, both headshots, both from positions that should have been safe. König was close. Day 7, Zaytsev set a trap, put a helmet on a stick. Obvious bait, watched from concealment. Nothing. König didn't bite. Too smart. Day 8, Zaytsev brought Kulikov, his spotter. They took positions at dawn, 2 sets of eyes, twice the chance of spotting König. All day they watched, saw nothing. Then, just before dusk, Kulikov signaled. Movement. A piece of metal shifting. 450 meters away. Could be wind. Could be König. They watched until dark, marked the position, decided to come back tomorrow. That night, Zaytsev couldn't sleep, kept thinking, is that König? Or is König somewhere else, waiting for me to investigate? Or does König know I saw the movement and he's already relocated? Or does he think I didn't see it and he's still there? Sniper warfare is chess, except the pieces are invisible, and if you guess wrong, you die. Morning of day 9, October 15th. Zaytsev and Kulikov take positions before dawn. They're 200 meters from where they saw the movement, concealed in rubble, hidden. The plan is simple. Kulikov will expose himself slightly, just a little. If König is watching, he'll shoot, and when he shoots, Zaytsev will see the muzzle flash. We'll know where König is. We'll kill him. It's a dangerous plan. Kulikov is the bait. But Kulikov agrees, says he trusts Zaytsev. They wait for sunrise, wait for the light. At 6:30 a.m., the sun comes up. Kulikov doesn't move yet. Too early. The light's wrong. They wait. Hours pass. 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Still waiting. Zaytsev hasn't moved in 3 hours. His legs are cramping. His back is screaming. Doesn't matter. He waits. 10 a.m. Still nothing. Kulikov signals. Ready? Zaytsev nods. Not yet. Wait for the sun. The light needs to be perfect, because if König is there, if he takes the shot, Zaytsev will have maybe 2 seconds to spot him, 2 seconds to acquire the target, line up, fire. If the light's wrong, if Zaytsev can't see clearly, he'll miss, and König will disappear, or König will kill him. 10:30 a.m. The sun shifts. The angle is right. Zaytsev signals, "Now." Kulikov lifts his head. Just barely, just enough to be visible. For 3 seconds, nothing happens. Then the shot. The crack echoes across the rubble. Kulikov drops. Zaytsev's heart stops. He can't tell if Kulikov is hit or playing dead. Can't check, can't move. Has to look for the flash. There, just barely. A puff of smoke, beneath a sheet of metal, 450 meters. König just fired, just revealed his position. Now comes the hard part. Zaytsev doesn't move, because if König is as good as Zaytsev thinks, König knows he just gave away his position, knows Zaytsev might have seen, is already repositioning, already moving. If Zaytsev shoots now, shoots at where the flash was, he'll miss. König won't be there anymore. But if Zaytsev waits, if he tries to spot König's new position, König might spot him first, might kill him. This is the moment. This is the decision that determines everything. Zaytsev waits, watches through his scope, looking for any sign, any movement. Minutes pass. 5, 10. His finger is on the trigger. His crosshairs are aimed at the rubble, searching. Then he sees it. Not movement, light, the tiniest reflection, sunlight off glass, a scope, partially hidden behind a brick. 10 meters left of where the shot came from. There. König moved after firing, relocated, is now watching from a new position, waiting for Zaytsev to shoot at the old position so he can see where Zaytsev is. Smart. But Zaytsev sees him now, sees the edge of the scope. Can't see König's head, can't see his body, just the glass. Has to assume König is directly behind it, has to trust the shot. Zaytsev adjusts his aim, slowly. The crosshairs settle on the brick, on the tiny sliver of scope visible behind it. He breathes, in, out, holds, squeezes. The Mosin Nagant kicks against his shoulder. The shot cracks across Stalingrad. Through his scope, Zaytsev watches. The piece of glass tilts, falls. Something dark spreads across the brick. Zaytsev keeps watching. Doesn't move, doesn't celebrate. This could be a trick. König could be playing dead, could be waiting for Zaytsev to expose himself. Minutes pass, 10, 20, 30. Nothing moves. Kulikov, 3 meters away, lifts his head slowly. He's fine, wasn't hit. Signals to Zaytsev. "Did you get him?" Zaytsev signals back. "Don't know." They wait another hour. Finally, Soviet infantry advances through that sector. They reach the brick pile, find a body. German, sniper, shot through the head. Next to him, a rifle, a scope, precision German optics, the kind issued to specialists. They search the body, find papers, military identification. The name reads Erwin König, Major, German Army. They bring the papers to Zaytsev. Zaytsev looks at them, looks at the name, doesn't say anything, just nods. That night, the Soviet newspapers print the story. Vasily Zaytsev defeats the best German sniper in the Wehrmacht. The hunter from the Urals kills the king. Propaganda. But also true. Whether König was really named König, whether he had 400 kills, whether Berlin actually sent him, nobody knows for certain. German records are unclear. Some historians think the Soviets made it up. Zaytsev didn't care. He knew the German sniper was real, knew he was good, knew that for 9 days they hunted each other and Zaytsev won. That's all that mattered. After König, Zaytsev kept fighting, kept killing Germans. By January 1943, his official count was 225 confirmed kills. 225. In 5 months. He also trained other snipers, created a whole school, His students called themselves Zaychata, Zaytsev's leverets, little hares. They killed over 3,000 Germans using his methods. January 31st, 1943. Zaytsev was scouting positions when a German mortar round landed 3 meters away. Shrapnel hit his face. Temporary blindness. They evacuated him to Moscow. Doctors said the damage was permanent. He'd never see again. Zaytsev refused to accept it. Underwent experimental surgery. Professor Filatov. Cutting-edge techniques. Dangerous. Might work, might make it worse. Zaytsev said, "Do it." The surgery worked. Partially. He regained most of his vision in one eye. Enough to see, not enough to snipe, not at the level he used to. He wanted to return to Stalingrad. The Soviet command said no, said he was too valuable as a symbol, as propaganda, made him an instructor instead. He trained snipers for the rest of the war. After the war ended, Zaytsev went home, not to Yelenovka. That village was too small, too remote. He moved to Kiev, got a job at an engineering plant, director of a department, married a woman named Zinaida, had children, lived quietly. The Soviet government gave him medals: Hero of the Soviet Union, Order of Lenin, Order of the Red Banner. He accepted them, put them on a shelf, never talked about them. When people recognized him, asked about Stalingrad, asked about König, he'd shrug. Just doing my job. When journalists wanted interviews, he usually said no. When he did agree to talk, he never bragged, never celebrated. Just said the war was terrible and he was glad it was over. He never mentioned pissing himself while staring at König's scope. Never mentioned the fear, the nightmares, the faces of the 225 men he killed. Never mentioned Morozov, the student who died, the kid from Siberia who Zaytsev couldn't save. In 1991, Vasily Zaytsev died in Kiev. He was 76 years old. They buried him in Kiev initially, but his final wish was to be buried in Stalingrad, the city where he fought, where he killed König, where he became a legend. In 2006, they moved his remains, reburied him at Mamayev Kurgan, the hill overlooking Volgograd, the memorial to the Battle of Stalingrad. Thousands attended the ceremony: veterans, soldiers, civilians, and one old German man, a former Wehrmacht soldier who fought in Stalingrad. He didn't give his name, just laid flowers on Zaytsev's grave. Stood there for a long time. Finally said, "In Russian, we were all just trying to survive," then walked away. Today, most people know Vasily Zaytsev from Enemy at the Gates. The movie, Jude Law plays him, Ed Harris plays König. It's entertaining, mostly fiction. The real duel wasn't a dramatic shootout. It was 9 days of cold and fear and waiting. It was pissing yourself because you can't move. It was watching a piece of glass for 6 hours, not knowing if it's debris or a scope. It was taking one shot, one single shot, at a target you can barely see, knowing if you miss, you die, and then living with it. Living with the fact that you killed a man, that he was probably someone's son, someone's brother, that he woke up that morning not knowing it was his last day, that he had hopes and fears and dreams, and you ended all of it with one bullet. Vasily Zaytsev lived with that for 49 years after the war, lived with 225 kills, 225 faces he never forgot. He never talked about it, never sought glory, never wrote a book or did lecture tours or cashed in on his fame, just went home, got a job, raised his kids, tried to be normal. Because here's what nobody tells you about heroes. Being a hero doesn't make you happy. It doesn't erase the nightmares. It doesn't bring back the dead. It just means you did what you had to do when the moment came, and then you live with it. Vasily Zaytsev took that shot on October 15, 1942, 450 meters. One bullet, through smoke and rubble and fear. The glass tilted. König died, and a hunter from the Urals who learned to shoot wolves became the man who killed the king. He never celebrated it, never bragged, just picked up his rifle, found a new position, and kept fighting. Because the war wasn't over. Wouldn't be over for 3 more years. And there were still Germans to kill. 225 confirmed kills, thousands more trained by his methods. A city saved in part because of his bullets. And at the end, a quiet grave on a hill in Volgograd. No speeches, no glory, just a stone with a name. Vasily Grigoryevich Zaytsev, 1915 to 1991, sniper, and in small letters underneath, hero of the Soviet Union. He would have hated the fuss.